with a lot of people masquerading as clerics. Oftentimes you hear, God called me. God called me. Well, many of them are into this call according to the claim that they have continuously battered us with for money. They are there to solicit for funds. They are there to fleece. Well, you might have fallen into the trap of any of these charlatans, criminals, pupilled bandits. And oftentimes they resort to using fear as a tool, as a weapon to get you to part with your hard-earned money. In fact, some of them will look for portions of the Bible, misinterpret it, coin it, and apply it to what they wish to achieve. They will make you realize that the reason why you're going through hell, the reason why your problems have not been solved, is because you have not given money to God. And when you talk about God, they will say they are the representative of God on earth. Now, I'm not trying to stop you from giving to enhance or progress. It is okay too. After all, there are bills to be paid. And you as a person, as a human being, you also have bills to pay. It's the same with any organization. If it is to function, money is needed. After all, the scriptures says, money answereth all things. When it says all things, it means all things material. Well, having said this, there are a lot of things that people have gone through in the hands of these pupilled bandits. And some of them are repenting now, and they fall back and repent again. It is all about fleecing people with false teachings, fleecing people with false prophecy. This is what they do. They will often tell you this while they are doing the other. People are blinded, all because of issues, problems in their lives. It even becomes worse in countries where things don't work. I'm talking about countries where their leaders loot all the resources. Let us listen to this and we'll be talking more. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to tap on the subscribe button.
It is the nature of all false prophets to create a conscience where there is none and to cause conscience to disappear where it does exist. As our pastors are the one now destroying Christianity. It is not in doubt that religion is the opium of the masses, and a lot of false prophets have taken advantage of this to deceiving unsuspecting followers for their own benefit. In Nigeria today, ditto Africa, magicians have taken over the house of God, and they parade themselves as prophet of God, while in actual sense, these people are all prophets of Baal. To them, Christianity starts and ends with giving, as they steal in the name of the Lord. The bigger your problem, the bigger you are told to donate. Challenge God and see if he will not offload his blessings upon you, they say. Yet, you never even feel challenge common government when they steal your money every day, but they tell you to challenge God. You believe them, believe you can believe anything. Why is it upon a scam? Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep clothing, but inwardly and ravaging wolf. That's what the Bible says. What God cannot do does not exist. And a lie. There are billions of things God cannot do. God gave you a brain, he cannot do the thinking for you. For most of them, religion is nothing more than a substitute for malfunctioning brain. So that's why they remove your ability to do critical thinking and create fear around you, then say miracle to you. That fear, the key that unlocks the pocket of the rich and the poor and gullible. They tell you, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for the Lord is with me. Yet they drive around with bulletproof cars and number of mobile police, enough to form a battalion, as they frighten you not to give to the poor woman in the village who they claim is a witch, that will take your gift to coven and tie your destiny. So rather bring it to the church so that the pastor will lay hand on it and before he gives it away. or on a job. That's 419 mentality. They would raise sword against anyone that preaches against tithe and offering, or first fruit, or taxes that they collect, even if that person is a true Christian or one of them. That's why everything to them starts and ends with donation. Let 20 people come out to give 1 million naira. After that 1 million, they go still reach 100 naira and 5 naira, stealing from both the rich and the poor. The church and pastors want money, they turn to members. But members want money, they are told to turn to God. Wise up, brethren, God is not after your money, but your salvation. For these pastors have fleeced more people of their hard-earned money and made more people poor and depressed than they have actually saved people. They are quick to shout Malachi 3:10, but we never pointed to Deuteronomy 14:22-29, where the law of tithing was actually established and you were instructed to eat your tithe. That is why they celebrate the fraudulent, the corrupt, the wealthy than the meek and the righteous. They claim to be modern-day Levi, but they forget that Levi is a tribe in Israel, and yet are not a calling. So show me a Levi, and I will give you my tithe. So why they not call you into Tinubu or Big Gate or Elon Musk family? Only thief masquerading as chief. Instead of a place of worship, they have turned the church into a gathering where the best of cars, clothing, and materialistic things are showcased. Comic relief are entertained because of the hollowness and lack of godliness in these places. My God is not a poor God. No wonder more people are now questioning the existence of God. As they say, if his so-called messengers can be this carnal without repercussion, what then is the need? Some of the pastors claim to even drink tea with God and stop natural weather in foreign countries for months. Yet, they no fee even stop the scorching sun that is burning people here, even when light no day. Some claim to raise more people from the dead. Yet, bad roads and non-availability of infrastructure is killing their church members daily. And they never feel even raise them. Church members, they forbid to raise from the dead. Others claim to hold the key to the kingdom. But what their followers do not know is that the key to the vault, when they won't give madam and girlfriends, now they hold, not the key to the kingdom. Some even say they stop a bullet with their hand and drove cars from Lagos to Abuja without fuel. They collect money from you to build schools, yet you can't afford to send your children there because of exorbitant fee. They promise you, they ask you to invest in the heaven, but are quickly collecting their return on investment here on earth. They tell you all sorts of lies in the name of God. And rather than lead people to God, they're actually chasing people away from God, while the few credible ones in church are silent because of mob criticism. Even motivational speakers today call themselves pastors too, as more people are calling God instead of God calling them. And while they criticize politicians in the afternoon, they go to collect tithe and offering from these same politicians in the night, and why you continue to carry your own cross. I will therefore advocate until we begin to judge this so-called God of men, masquerading as men of God, so that we also will be judged. We will continue to have charlatans occupy the pulpit until they completely eradicate the gospel and replace it with their own thoughts. True religious leaders must urgently rise up and speak up if they must salvage the already bad situation. To return to higher standard of living, the church, CAN, PFN, and all other associations must abandon the so-called prophet and seek new leaders of their own choosing. The government on its own owes it a duty to the society to create sanity and must establish laws to limit the proliferation of religious centers, all in the name of winning souls, while they are actually destroying souls. If you like, insult me from now till today. It will not stop me from calling out your pastors. So, well, let me listen to your insults on our comment section in all our social media platforms showing on your screen. And for those who share the same sentiment with me, please feel free to share. We can collectively sanitize these birds, chase this ballhead out of the yard. For if we remove tithe, offering, first fruit, and all revenue collection from most of these churches, they will fold up on their own. Remember, in prosperity preaching, only the pastor prospers. Why you who is giving remains poor? So
of a truth, in prosperity preaching, only the pastor prosper, whilst you are expecting, always in expectation, believing that God will open the windows of heaven and pour down upon you millions of whatever currency. Well, there are people who can attest to this. There are people who can say, yes, God actually did this for me. I wasn't expecting this I got this contract. I didn't even think of it. Someone just remembered me because I sow a seed in this ministry. Yes, there are certain things that work in certain ways, but it is not like a law applicable to everybody. If you give money, you will get this in return. A lot of people have been giving, and they have not received nothing. Their pastor is the one prospering. Their pastor is the one having what they call soft life. They are not having soft life. Life has been so difficult. They are still living from hand to mouth with the hope that one day their bread will have butter on it. So sad. So sad. Now, like I said at the beginning, that does not mean that you should not support the work of God if you really know. Not because you have been deceived, not because you have been brainwashed, not because a pastor gave you this story that cannot be proven anywhere. Like a pastor once said, his name is David Ibiyomi, somewhere in the south side of Nigeria. He said that he had given God, or given to God, $1 billion. Or is it 1 million? If I'm correct, $1 million. He said he gave this to God. And the question that a lot of people in that church could not ask him is, man of God, you said before you had a car, before you had a house, you gave God $1 million. Where did you get that money from? Did you work or someone gave you the money? Is it that people in your church gathered money together and they all fed it to you and you decided to give all of it to God? Is that what it is? Many of them simply come up with lies in a bid to encourage you to give all that you have. All that you have. Some of them even talk about first fruit. This is the first salary you earn in a month. As if you don't have bills to pay for that first month. They say, give it to God and see what God will do. But you are still on your 9 to 5 and you've been in it for 20 years. If nothing happens, they'll say, don't worry. See what God will do for your children. And your children keep on and on about this. The thing is this, majority of them are simply fleecing their members with see what God will do. Aside specific instructions, aside that, I don't think that one story said by your pastor applies to everybody. Like if you give all, sell your cars, give this, I sold my car, I didn't have nothing. When we came into ministry, we didn't have nothing with us. We didn't have a single dime. All that we had given it out. We came with only one trouser, one shirt. I and my wife with our Bible. And some of you see us flying private jets now. You don't know the sacrifice that we are put into it. Yes, at times, some of the stories are true, whilst majority of it are not true. Many of them are overblown, overbloated stories. All of this is just to make you give all. It's always about all that you have. And they call it giving selflessly. Give all that you have. Stay in penury. Give it to me. I'm going to use it to progress the work of God. That's what they say. They make their lives soft. I have sacrificed. It is time for me to enjoy. It's time for you to sacrifice all that you have so that you can enjoy. But the difference in all of the so-called sacrifice is that no million or thousands of people will gather together to give you anything. Your own blessing is in heaven, but theirs is on earth. And maybe in heaven, I don't know. So they are giving cars out, they are giving this out, they are giving that out. And now they say God is blessing them. That there are times that they will go home hungry. And a member comes to them, they give out to this member. This member did not even know what they were passing through. But they sacrifice for the work of God. Yes, at times some of these things are true. Now, they are reaping from what they have done by you members giving to them bountifully, which is okay for them. But does that principle apply to you as a person working 9 to 5 or living your life? How? I don't really get it. That's what I want us to discuss. How are you going to get bountifully also like your pastor? Drop a comment about this. See you guys in the next update.